Up next on the Rockbridge Report, officials have begun to release the names of athletes and others killed in a mid-air crash of a U.S. Black Hawk helicopter and an aircraft carrying 64 passengers.
And later, Franklin County firefighters continue to battle the Wades Gap brush fires.
Then, see how Lexington residents fared during a notoriously cold January.
But when you have snow and ice and then the cold snap right after that, it makes things very difficult.
After that, why basketball coaches across the country are lacing up their sneakers for cancer research. All that coming right up now on the Rockbridge Report.
Live from the campus of Washington and Lee University with news from Rockbridge County, this is the Rockbridge Report.
Welcome back to the Rockbridge Report. I'm Devin Bateman.
And I'm Katie Eubanks. We start tonight's broadcast with an update on last night's collision between a passenger plane and an Army helicopter over the nation's capital. Officials say no survivors are expected. A recovery mission is underway at the crash site in the near-freezing Potomac River near Reagan National Airport. CNN's Michael Yoshida reports with the latest on this unfolding tragedy.
I saw the plane banking at an angle that a plane shouldn't bank, and I saw sparks flying.
A passenger plane collided with a U.S. Army Black Hawk helicopter mid-air over Washington late Wednesday night. On board, several athletes, coaches, and family members returning from the U.S. Figure Skating Championships. American Airlines says PSA operated Flight 5342 from Wichita, Kansas, was trying to land at Reagan National Airport when the collision occurred.
We are now at a point where we are switching from a rescue operation to a recovery operation. At this point, we don't believe there are any survivors from this accident.
64 people are believed to have been on board the commercial flight when it went down in the Potomac River. According to officials, the helicopter was on a training flight from Virginia and had 3 soldiers on board.
At this time, we don't know why the military aircraft came into the path of the PSA aircraft.
More than 24 bodies have been recovered from the river as of Thursday morning, with full recovery expected to take several days.
I'm confident that we will do that, and that will take us a little bit of time, though. It may involve some more equipment.
Although early in the investigation, officials believe the accident could have been avoided.
We are going to wait for all the information to come in from this vantage point, but to back up what the president said, what I've seen so far, do I think this was preventable? Absolutely.
In Washington, I'm Michael Yoshida reporting.
U.S. Figure Skating released a statement on the accident, saying they are devastated by this unspeakable tragedy and hold the victims' families closely in their hearts.
In Lexington, local coffee shops have increased their prices due to recent wholesale demand. The Rockbridge Report's Emily Scaff is live on Main Street. Emily, what can you tell us about these new prices?
Thank you, Devin. Many of us need our daily cup of coffee, but the price of that cup may be increasing. Some local coffee shop owners say the reason for this increase is the rising price of coffee beans. In Lexington, coffee shops are a staple of community life, but residents may notice an increase in the price of a cup at their favorite cafe. Pronto in downtown Lexington raised prices by 10% at the start of the new year.
We were informed by our coffee distributor, Lavazza, in early December that they were going to be doing an across-the-board increase, and so we had to pass that along to our consumer.
Jack Scholl, the owner of local coffee roaster Roadmap Coffee Works, says he plans to raise prices on ground coffee bags in the coming weeks.
Because we're seeing price increases from 10 to 25% over last year, we're having to increase prices.
Roadmap Coffee Works supplies coffee to many restaurants and shops in the area, including Seasons Yield, Lexington Coffee Company, and Pure Eats. Scholl expects these retailers will need to increase prices to keep up with Roadmap's increase.
This is a small margin game, and all these companies need to maintain their margins or else they go out of business.
Ben Gilbert, manager at Seasons Yield Cafe, says the shop does not have plans to increase prices.
The primary cause in the rise in coffee prices is climate and weather issues around the world. There's droughts in some places, too much rain in other places.
Scholl says short supply and high demand are also culprits.
Too many mouths chasing too few beans is essentially what has happened, and so prices are going up all over the world.
Benincasa says Pronto has not yet seen a change in sales after they increased their prices.
We see a lot of people every day, often multiple times a day, so it adds up, 30 cents here, 40, next thing you know, they're spending $10 more a week on coffee.
A representative from Starbucks says the company will not be raising prices this fiscal year. Reporting live from Main Street, I'm Emily Scaff from the Rockbridge Report. Back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Emily.
Franklin County firefighters continue to battle the Wades Gap flames, covering roughly 450 acres. Officials announced to social media this morning that 100% of the western flank is contained, while 15% of the eastern flank is still at bay. The city lifted its mandatory evacuation order at 8:30 last night, but urged residents to remain on high alert. More hostages are being released as thousands of displaced Gazans return home. Trump's Middle East envoy, Steve Witkoff, met with Israeli government officials earlier today. He said an American hostage is expected to be released tomorrow.
Thank you very much, sir.
We're on top of it all. One is coming out tomorrow.
The next phases of the ceasefire aim towards securing all remaining hostages and making the agreement between Israel and Hamas permanent, but negotiations have yet to begin officially.
President Trump signed his new administration's first piece of legislation, the Laken-Riley Act, yesterday afternoon. The law requires people in the U.S. illegally to be detained and possibly deported if they are accused of theft or violent crimes. The president stated he plans to send tens of thousands of undocumented migrants to the Guantanamo Bay.
We have 30,000 beds in Guantanamo to detain the worst criminal illegal aliens threatening the American people. Some of them are so bad we don't even trust the countries to hold them.
The migrant raids continue across the country as President Trump follows through on his word to crack down on irregular immigration.
Coming up next on the Rockbridge Report, Rockbridge County high school students return from winter break to a new innovation center. How teachers and students are using the new space after over a year in outdoor tents.
And later, a water main break in Lexington had residents concerned about gushing water down the street for several hours.
It was just a waste of massive amounts of water. I have no idea how much, but a lot.
And Robert F. Kennedy Jr. wants to, quote, make America healthy again. But first, he has to convince a skeptical Senate that he's right for the job. Day 2 of his confirmation hearing when we come back. Welcome back to the Rockbridge Report. Today in Washington, the U.S. Senate heard more of President Trump's cabinet nominees. Tulsi Gabbard, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., and Kash Patel all faced their confirmation hearings. Kennedy, the nominee for Health and Human Services Director, says the government must focus on the cause of high healthcare costs rather than who should take the bill.
Shifting the burden around between government and industry and corporations is like changing deck chairs on the Titanic. Our country will sink beneath a sea of desperation and debt if we don't change course and ask the fundamental question, why are healthcare costs so high in the first place?
Kennedy's hearing finished around 1 o'clock this afternoon, with senators from both parties still expressing concerns. To become the new HHS secretary, he will need a majority approval vote in the Senate, or in the event of a tie, approval by the new vice president. Local officials are now searching for a coordinator for a drug recovery court coming to Rockbridge County. This comes after the Lexington and Buena Vista City Councils approved more than $26,000 in funds for the court. Read Erica Kinney's story on the recovery court at rockbridgereport.wlu.edu.
Rockbridge County High School opened its newly renovated vocational school when students returned from winter break. Cold weather and snow delayed their return, but construction was finished on December 6th. Now students and teachers are using their new spaces, happy to be out of the outdoor tents. Rockbridge Report's Emmy Amison gives us the tour.
The Rockbridge Innovation Center is open for business after a year and a half of construction. 16 programs have moved into the new and improved spaces, including culinary arts, nursing, and building trades.
This is the first time in RCHS history that the Building Trades Lab has been fully heated and cooled, and which, again, opens up a world of possibilities when it's not guys, it's 90 degrees in the shop and you're going to have heat stroke.
During the construction, the building trades program was forced to function outside in tents or communal spaces within the building. So weather and unworkable conditions set the curriculum back. The program was only able to build a shed for Habitat for Humanity rather than a house.
We were just kind of left to the whims of the weather, and now we can work rain or shine, and light or dark.
Students who visited during the recent curriculum night said they were excited to use the new facilities.
We had our EMT that was done off-site. So now we have a dedicated room for our EMT program. So those students will also not have to travel back and forth to school. Now that we are not having to double up in classrooms with the Innovation Center being done, we have a designated space.
Rockbridge County High School has paired up with Rockbridge Area Health Center to provide students with on-campus mental and physical health care. The Innovation Center has allowed the school to put a room within the school building just for these services.
One of the advantages is now we have a dedicated space for a psychologist to work with our students in a private area, which is great for not only the psychologist, but also it takes some of the stigma away from the students that are asking for some care.
Students no longer have to travel off campus for appointments. Dr. Kraft hopes this will take a large step in combating mental health issues. With the Rockbridge Report, I'm Emmy Amison.
Lexington Youth Service Director Tammy Dunn plans to retire at the end of the school year. In response, the city is planning to change after-school programming and use the anticipated cost savings to increase wages for some city workers. For details, read Jordan Hoover's story at rockbridgereport.wlu.edu.
A water main burst had gallons of water gushing down Confederate Circle yesterday. Residents say they first noticed the leak early evening Tuesday, all the way through Wednesday afternoon.
I think there's a little bit of damage to my driveway. There was just such a massive amount of water going down, and it was split between the ditch and some of it was just going down the road. It was just a waste of massive amounts of water. I have no idea how much, but a lot.
Public Works employees have fixed the leak and filled the surrounding area with gravel. City water officials couldn't be reached to comment on the cause of the break or the estimated damage. The nonprofit Rockbridge Recovery will bring a veteran support group to Buena Vista this spring. The first of its kind group in the area will allow veterans to share their experiences confidentially in weekly meetings. Currently, the nearest support groups are around an hour's drive away. Read the full story by John Little at rockbridgereport.wlu.edu.
Coming up next on the Rockbridge Report, WNO basketball lit up Holcamp Gym last night in a men's and women's doubleheader. Shea Bowman has the scores.
And later, temperatures in Lexington are finally looking up, but residents are still recovering from this month's freezing temperatures.
I'm Paige Jackson. Taking a look around, we can see some clouds rolling in, but according to my 5-day forecast, the warm weather's here to stay. I'll tell you the rest coming up next on the Rockbridge Report.
Welcome back to the Rockbridge Report.
Winter weather has caused significant disruptions in Rockbridge County, from school closures to road challenges. The Rockbridge Report's Carmen Bunker gives us a closer look at how local officials have taken on these tough conditions.
The recent snowstorm brought challenges for road maintenance, especially on gravel roads where salt cannot be used due to pothole concerns. Sandy Myers of the Virginia Department of Transportation.
We start preparing by ordering our materials such as salt and abrasives. We do that like in July. In September, August, October, we do what we have dry runs where we bring everybody in and they go over their routes, they go over their equipment and know what to do.
Lexington City Council member David Sigler says winter weather has kept public works teams in Lexington and Rockbridge County on their toes, from road clearing to water main repairs.
A lot of our pipes are older in the city of Lexington, and when they freeze, they'll rupture, and that will, of course, cause water to go down the streets, causing another safety issue.
The snow and ice made roads impassable, leading to a 2-week school closure. Rockbridge County Schools Chief Operations Officer Randy Walters worked closely with neighboring counties to determine if schools should close.
It's very hard to prepare for what the temperatures and precipitation is going to be like each winter, but You know, it was nice to see some snow, but when you have snow and ice and then the cold snap right after that, it makes things very difficult.
As the snow begins to melt and temperatures rise, Sigler says the city and the county are ready for spring. I'm Carmen Bunker with the Rockbridge Report.
Even though it has been really cold here lately, it definitely is starting to warm up.
Yeah, Paige, can we take the sweaters off and put the shorts on?
I think we can. As we head into February, the temperatures are staying warmer. And taking a look at our live shot in downtown Lexington on Main Street, we can see that it's a bit cloudy, but as we look at our current conditions, the high for today was 53 degrees with a low of 41. The barometric pressure was 30.17 inches with a wind speed of 16 miles per hour, and the humidity was 28%. Taking a look at our radar, as we can see, there aren't many clouds available on the radar because of the higher cloud coverage, but the whole area is experiencing some clouds right now. Looking at our regional conditions, we can see those clouds are everywhere except for Lexington. In Charlottesville, it is 54 degrees. In Stanton, it's 52 degrees. Here in Lexington, it's 52 as well. And the same in Buena Vista. In Lynchburg, it is a high of 58. And taking a look in the west, Covington is 53 degrees right now, and Roanoke is 57. Looking into next week, our 5-day forecast shows that tomorrow we are going to get some rain, and it's going to be a high of 55 with a low of 42. On Saturday, it's going to be sunny and 56, which is promising, with a low of 33. On Sunday, it's going to be 47 with a low of 37 and cloudy. And on Monday, we're going to get a little bit of sun, and this is shocking for February. It's going to be 65 degrees with a low of 38. On Tuesday, it'll be 58 with a low of 37. Looks promising. Back to you, Devin and Katie.
Thank you, Paige. Coming up on the Rockbridge Report, learn why basketball coaches across the country are pairing their suits with their sneakers to spread awareness.
And later, see how one 7-year-old girl channeled her love for jewelry making into a way to give back. All that next on the Rockbridge Report. Welcome back to the Rockbridge Report. So I've been hearing a lot of good things about WL's men and women's basketball.
That's what I've heard. I heard that they both won last night. Shay, can you tell us more about these victories?
Yes, Katie, both teams won last night, and the women now have a 10-game winning streak they're looking to add to this weekend. It was all smiles for Generals basketball coming out of last night's doubleheader. The WNL women's team brought their winning streak to double digits with a 66-50 victory over EMU. The team takes on Randolph-Macon at home this Saturday. Men's basketball lit up the Bridgewater College Eagles in a decisive 73-60 win. The Rockbridge Report's Mackenzie Kane caught up with the team's head coach after the game.
Good evening, Rockbridge. I'm here at Washington and Lee's Holcamp Gym, where the Generals men's basketball team extended their winning streak with a conference victory over Bridgewater College. And joining me here on court is head men's basketball coach Chris McHugh. Coach, just walk me through what you saw out there today.
Gutty effort from our guys. Just really proud of our group for hanging in there, playing tough, playing through fatigue. I thought we did a great job of guarding them. They came out in the second half and made it close, and we got some stops in a row there and really sat down on them defensively. Thought Colin Ryan was a great leader, played through so much fatigue. We're asking so much of him, and he was great, leading us all the way to the finish.
Now, this wasn't your average game, Coach. It's the 31st anniversary of Coaches versus Cancer's Suits and Sneakers Week. Can you just tell me a little bit about what this event means to you?
Yeah, it's so great. It's very cool to be a part of, very humbling. Like I've said before, this is a very small gesture on our behalf for all the people out there that are suffering or know someone suffering from cancer. We hope that bringing a little bit of awareness and recognition, not just here, but all across the country with all the other coaches, is a pretty neat thing. And, so hopefully someday cancer will be a thing of the past.
Well, Coach, I appreciate your time. Congratulations on the win. And signing off with the Rockbridge Report, I'm Mackenzie Kane.
VMI basketball added another tally to the win column last night. The Cadets secured a 74-67 victory on the road against Wofford College. The team heads south this weekend to take on the Western Carolina Catamounts. VMI's men's and women's swim teams made the trip across the street to the WNL Natatorium last weekend. The Generals women's swim team dominated the Lady Cadets 203-52. But VMI's men's team made sure they didn't head home without a victory, defeating the Generals 140-122. Over in Buena Vista, the undefeated SVU men's volleyball team has yet to lose a set all season. The Knights swept Roanoke College Tuesday night. The team takes on Lancaster Bible College this Saturday at home. SVU women's basketball pummeled the William Peace Pacers on the road Tuesday, bringing home a 92-35 win. The women are back in Knight Arena this Saturday against Brevard College. That's all for sports. Back to you, Devin.
Thanks, Shay. Sometimes the biggest hearts come in the smallest packages, and one young girl is proving just that. A 7-year-old with a passion for crafting found a way to turn her hobby into a mission of kindness. CNN's Danielle Kreuter has the story.
What started as a little hobby for 7-year-old Lily Ehrlich,
I started with my babysitter.
Quickly turned into a very small family business.
I thought it was a great idea to have a business, so now this is what I do.
Making and selling bracelets to family and friends for $5 each.
I just re-upped with all of our letters.
We're a small shop. Lily's little brother also helps.
But one day the business model changed.
We were leaving the grocery store and we saw a mommy with a sign, and she had her babies with her, and she needed money for diapers and formula. And
that made me feel kind of sad, so I thought that we could help more people like that.
They decided they'd start donating all of the proceeds from the bracelets to a local nonprofit that helps survivors of domestic violence.
She didn't even think twice. She was like, yeah, that's a great idea, let's do it.
We got a lot of orders. Most of these are orders.
Almost $1,000.
Yeah, pretty much $1,000.
We are planning to do a big donation on Valentine's Day.
So that they can feel really loved and cared for.
A small gesture of kindness and compassion the family is hoping will make a big difference. In Longmont,
we will try to fill as many orders as we can because the money is going to a really good cause, and it's going to help provide shelter and therapy for people who really need it.
That's all for the Rockbridge Report. Thanks for watching.
For more local and national news, check out our website, rockbridgereport.wlu.edu, and join us next Thursday for another half-hour edition of the Rockbridge Report.